Please note that this is an independent project created for entertainment purposes only. Neither Gamer Geek Studios nor this video are connected to, endorsed by, or has any affiliation with DC Comics, Warner Brothers, or anyone else who has created and produced the content shown in this video. Gamer Geek Studios is following the fair use legal doctrine, allowing the studio to use copyright protected material without getting permission from the owner.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Gamer Geek here, and today we're doing another Flash fan game update. Rather than trying to cram more into the game, this past week I've tried to polish a lot of things. We'll be covering the huge steps forward made to the game visually, discussing some added visual effects and polishing done to the game, discussing some new features, and talking about what my next steps are for the game. So with all that, let's jump right in. Starting off, the first thing you'll probably notice is we have an actual city now. Hooray! No, this isn't Codemation City yet. The memory draw needed to be reduced a bit more before it can be fully added in, but this will serve as a base for his city. I plan on utilizing some of the assets from this city environment and combining it with Codemation City environment to make the final version of Central City. I want to do this for several reasons. One is to make use of blueprint actors from the current city, like traffic lights, crosswalk signs, light up displays, etc., that add a certain level of visual appeal to the game world. Another reason is to try and expand the city by adding a greater variety of buildings from both city environments to hopefully make Central City as big as possible. I'm hoping that once the city is fully wrapped up, it will be expansive and offer the player a lot more space to move around. Moving forward, you can see the lighting and the sky have taken huge steps forward. The lighting is bright and defined, and the sky is much more detailed than before. I'm also going to add a day to night cycle in the game like many have suggested on Discord, with a mechanic plan to make more crime happen at night. Right now the transition is not animated, but I did add a control to switch between the times of day for playtesting. Something else you've probably already noticed by now is the lightning is a lot better. I swapped out the lightning Niagara system so the trail will behave more like lightning than glowing lines. It looks cool, and I'm glad I made the switch for the game. I feel like the glow needs to be turned down a bit though for nighttime running. Speaking of visual effects, let's take a look at some of the villains for a second. Something people were quick to point out was that I hadn't added Reverse Flash's glowing eyes or vibrating visual effect yet. Well, look at him now. The man is blurred out and vibrating with red glowing eyes distinctly set in his head. We got him. I also can confirm that yes, he will get his vibrating Hand of Doom once I flesh out his combat more.
Oh, I'm not like the Flash at all. Some would say I'm the reverse.
But now let's take a look at Zoom. He's another character people had mentioned needing to be added, with his sparking blue aura from the show. Well, he's here and his aura's here too. Needs a bit of tweaking, but he still looks good. Now, let's talk about the newest feature added to the game. We have pedestrians now. Some fast ones, some slow ones, some small ones, some normal ones. It's a city population with a touch of diversity between the different pedestrian types to try and add a sense of realism and life to Central City while you play. I really worked hard on these guys, and after testing, I can confirm that none of them are getting stuck or stop moving anymore. They just wander up and down Central City aimlessly. I added some cars to the map too, but they don't move yet. At the moment, they're just pulled off to the side of the road. I really want to make them move, but some people have pointed out how it will make it difficult to move around Central City if there are cars actively in the way, so we'll see how it works out. Something else I changed was flash time. Rather than it being a temporary effect brought on by a special ability, I made it a constant effect that you can turn on and off. The game slows down a touch and you gain a better awareness of your movement, allowing you to take sharper turns and gain better control over your direction. So what are my next steps for the game? Well, obviously finishing out the city like I mentioned by fusing Codemation City with some of the assets I have, that's my next big step. I also want to finish off the different city features like the pedestrian system and figure out what I'm doing with the traffic system situation as well. Something big we're going to start working on though is finally implementing the story and some sound design as well. A lot of cool things are coming to the game, meaning a beta is right around the corner. I plan on releasing several beta versions of the game at various stages throughout the game's development, so be ready for that. My best guess is we're maybe a few updates away from the first one. Hey everyone, how's it going? Gamer Geek here, and today we have another CW Flash fan game update. We have a lot of cool things to talk about because I've been working really hard this past week to get the game beta test ready. As you all are aware, I assume anyway, the first beta of the game is right around the corner. Now I know a lot of the community is really excited for this. I am too, because even though I only started development on this game a little under 2 months ago at this point, I've been really excited to finally share my work with everyone, and I really hope people like the beta when it comes out. There have been a few though who were concerned that the beta wasn't going to be interesting or have enough included to make it really playable. That's their opinion, and I'd say it's not unwarranted. The game has only been in development for almost 2 months, with me only getting to work on it maybe a few hours a day. So for people to assume the beta will be super bare bones isn't exactly out of left field. With that in mind, I think it's time I share some surprises I've been keeping up my sleeve. So let's get into it, talking about everything I've been working on to get the game ready for the beta. To start off, let's talk about Central City. Like I've been telling people, despite many not listening and repeating the same comments again and again, the cities I've been using were temporary. Anyone who's watched the CW Flash knows Central City is a densely populated city divided by a river with bridges connecting the two halves. Not exactly half, a majority's on one side, but that doesn't matter. The point is, the cities featured in the previous update videos weren't very accurate representations of Central City. Even Codemation City, as awesome as it is, doesn't have the water separating parts of it. So Coda and I worked out a plan. Rather than him modeling a standard city for us to use, he generates some high quality building meshes instead for me to use so I can design Central City from the ground up. Hell of a lot more work for myself, but it will be more accurate to the show. So I jumped over to my favorite world building tool, World Creator 2, to generate a height map of a flat landscape with a squiggly river etched into it. Then I took roads, sidewalks, some foliage, etc., and I added them in to start building Central City. Next, I'll be taking buildings Coda is sending me and creating full city blocks with them. The city is going to be huge, meaning I have a ton of work ahead of me since I'm placing assets down by hand, but it's going to be worth the effort. The player will have an enormous amount of space to run around and explore. It also gives me more places to hide some Easter eggs. The city isn't the only thing getting an upgrade though. The game will also feature a weather system and will cycle through the seasons. To give a greater illusion of time passing, the different seasons will be tied to different in-game missions, meaning the time of year will be progressing forward along with the game. To test out the weather system, I put controls for the weather types in my little developer options menu, and I'm currently planning on leaving this feature accessible for the beta so that beta testers can play around with the weather like they can with the time of day. Speaking of the beta, let's talk about what exactly is going to be included. Well, obviously free roam, that's a given. But like I said earlier, some people were convinced the beta was going to be a bust because there wasn't enough to do. What they didn't know though was that I had some surprises waiting to be revealed. First, some alternative skins. I'm including at least 2 alternate skins in the beta as Easter eggs for players to unlock in-game, so happy hunting for those. Also, I'm implementing several mini games I've been working on to give you something with an objective if free roam isn't your thing. I plan on including at least 3 mini-games that are all based on either story missions or side missions for the player to try and beat. One is a chase mission. It wouldn't be a CW Flash game if the hero wasn't chasing an evil speedster, right? You play as the Flash chasing down Reverse Flash as he runs through the city. You have 2 minutes to catch up to him before he's gone. Fail to catch up to him within the time limit and it's game over. The next is a Scavenger hunt mission. The Trickster's at it again has left a bunch of explosives all around the city because literally every plan involves bombs with him in some way. You have to find all the explosives in time and bring them back to get disarmed or the city's a goner. For the last minigame, I'm torn. I don't know if it should be a CSI Barry minigame or a Captain Cold minigame. I'm thinking I'll start a poll and let you guys decide that one, so be ready to cast your vote when I launch that sometime this week. Just a reminder for those who don't listen, you know who you are and I sure as hell do too. These are based off missions from the full game, meaning the game will obviously have more than just these 3 minigames in it. Aside from that though, I've been working on getting a skill tree ready. The skill tree will have 3 primary branches that you can go off of as you progress through the story. The player will have the choice to upgrade their speed, combat, or ability branches as they level up throughout the game. Upgrading your speed can make your base speed faster or provide benefits to your flash time ability. Upgrading your combat can give you techniques like special dodges, super moves, and lightning constructs. Finally, upgrading your abilities will unlock new ones or enhance current ones like phasing, creating time remnants, and more. Upgrades in the skill tree will essentially be the equivalent of training from the show and will be referred to as such in-game for it to make sense from a storytelling perspective. So as you can see, there's a lot in the works. It's all super exciting, at least in my opinion, so I hope you guys are hyped for everything. With the beta so close to coming out, I'll be spending the majority of my time with development making sure the mini-games are functional and the gameplay isn't glitchy. Hopefully this video puts some people at ease and makes it clear I'm not just releasing a skeleton of a beta with nothing in it. I want there to be substance to this beta and to the game as a whole, so I definitely wouldn't be ready to release anything if it was going to be as empty as some people were claiming it would be. Give me more credit than that. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, be sure to join us over on Discord and Patreon if you can. We've actually been really active on Discord lately. I'm going to be pushing out more work for the Patreon-specific demos as well, so you don't want to miss out. Also, be sure to let me know what you're most excited about for the beta in the comments and over on Discord. Be sure to vote in the poll, too, on the last minigame for the beta. I'll be releasing it sometime this week. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.